Hello, you guys. It's Jackie, aka Hoodwinkler. Today we're going to be talking about manipulative people. Off the bat, I don't like that phrase. I'm going to call them people who use manipulation as a tactic to get their needs met. So, we're going to be going over how to spot someone who is using manipulation as a tactic on you, why one would do that, how to love them anyways, and also how to love yourself and what to do about it. Hopefully, if you have been in any type of manipulative relationships before, this is going to feel like, wow, I feel so seen right now. Or if you are currently in a relationship that you are not so sure about, whether this is romantic, familial, friendly, whatever, hopefully this will give you some clarity and insight on the people that you are dealing with, why they're like that, and how to heal the relationship. So, before we begin, if you guys don't know me already, again, my name's Jackie, aka Hoodwinkler. I am a manifestation coach and aficionado. Don't know if that's the right word, but I teach people ultimately how to come home to themselves, to what feels really authentic, and devote themselves to a spiritual way of living in alignment so deeply that manifestation basically becomes a byproduct of that. It's almost like the things that you might want out of life, whether this is certain types of friendships, finances, relationships, careers, living spaces, cars, whatever it might be, that through aligning with yourself and with God, you get everything that you could ever want, but that's not the point. It's almost like a side effect of the practice of coming home to yourself. So that's basically what I teach. It's an extremely powerful practice. I always say, if you just want to manifest a car, don't talk to me. But if you want to change your whole life and feel like the most powerful version of yourself and also have the car of your dreams, come talk to me. So that's who I am. If you want to learn more about manifestation, you can go to my website, hoodwinkler.com. Click on how to manifest. I have free webinars all the time that you can waitlist for. I also have the Co-Creation Clubhouse, which is an affordable monthly membership, and it opens up for the first couple days of every month. So if you follow me on Instagram, if you turn on notifications on all of my socials, or join my email list, you will hear about that. So let's get into the topic of today's discussion, you guys. I want to start off by talking about how to spot a manipulative person or someone who is using that as a tactic. I've already recorded this video once and it didn't work, and I wanted to scream really loudly, so I will try to speed things up and hope that that doesn't happen again. Okay, point number one. The person who is using manipulation is going to come into your life. Oh, wait, no, I lied. Before we begin, I need to make it clear that if someone is doing only one or two things of these things that I'm going to list, they're probably not using manipulation as a tactic on you. However, if they are doing all of them, you can bet your uncle. What's the clean way of saying that? You can bet that they are using manipulation as a tactic against you. I've found that in my interactions with people who use manipulation, it is a very formulaic process. So I am laying out every step of the formula. Just wanted to clarify that if you meet someone who is doing one of these points, they're probably not manipulative. But if, again, they do all of them, then act accordingly. Okay, so the first point of knowing that someone is using manipulation is that they come into your life and they start doing everything. They are cooking for you. They are cleaning for you. They are gift giving. They are doing your laundry. They are holding space. They are supporting you. And that's really nice. In a lot of ways, that can look like chivalry. And in other ways, it can look like seduction. I saw a quote today that was something like, seduction is a theft that you don't realize has happened until afterwards. And chivalry is something that is given to you freely with no expectation in return. So there's a bit of a difference in energetics between people doing things in a way that is manipulative for you and people doing things just because they genuinely want to do things for you. And I will explain that difference now. The first one is that they are not significantly shifting their life in a huge way in order to give to you. They are not taking massive amounts of time off work or clearing their entire schedule for a day, like consistently to do things for you when you never asked for them. It's just sort of something that naturally fits into their life and schedule. And they're doing it from a place of genuinely just wanting to give to you. You kind of feel like there's no agenda, there's nothing that they're asking in return. When someone is giving from a desperate energy, it's different. It's basically like they're clearing their whole schedule for you. They're changing their life. They're missing out on things that they love to do. They are basically giving to get you to like them, as opposed to giving to you just because. And you're going to feel that difference. You're going to feel the difference between someone giving to you to get you to like them versus just giving to you because they're honored to give to you. Now, the tricky thing about giving to you in this way, in this kind of desperate way, is that if they do not get what they want from you, and the want can be as simple as, connection and intimacy and love, which is a very genuine, not shifty want. However, it is not something that you are obliged to give them. If they are not getting what they want from you, they will begin to use that against you when you never ask them to do any of those things in the first place. So they will start to bring up of how they do X, Y, and Z for you, how they clean your whole house, how they cook everything for you, how they just do everything, when you never ask them to do any of that at all. It's basically they start to give up their lives for you in giving and then resent you for it, even though that is 100% their choice. And I say this as a ex-codependent that used to do that all the time. So that's the first way that you can spot a manipulator or person using manipulation. The second point, and this is by far the trickiest, is they will point out your wounds in a way that seems very loving. You're going to feel very seen by a manipulator. I'm just going to use that because it's easier. I clarified in the beginning. Whatever. You're going to feel very seen by a manipulator because in a way, they are seeing you. They are seeing, quote unquote, the real you, but they are just focusing on parts of the real you, specifically the parts that trigger the deepest reaction out of you because they're your wounds, So basically, they're going to come into your life and they will know exactly where it is you are hurting, and they will give evidence for its truth because in part they are correct. I'll give you an example for this. Say you have trouble trusting people, they will point out things like, oh, I noticed that you never make eye contact with me because I can tell that you're hurting, or I can tell by your body language that your heart is closed off, and I just want you to know that I'm a safe space for you to open it. They might say things like, you have sadness in your eyes. They're really going to make you feel seen for the parts of yourself that hurt the most. Here's the thing. That's actually a gift. That's really beautiful. And a lot of times manipulative people can be really transformational because they are pointing out aspects of us that we spend so much time trying to hide and repress. It's what they're doing isn't wrong. Oftentimes it's just inappropriate because no one asked. You didn't ask for that. And it kind of goes a bit of a layer deeper in the sense that It's up to you. Like, I need you to really kind of think about this. It's up to you to choose how you want to be seen. Do you want to be seen for your wounds and what hurts you, or for your gifts and what gives you joy? It's not that they are pointing out things that aren't there. They are there. Your wounds are there. But do you want to be seen by them or in general? Or do you want to see yourself as a wounded bird? Or do you want to see yourself as a glowing sun? And do you want to be around people who point out all of the ways in which you are a glowing sun? Or do you want to be around people who point out all of the ways in which you are a wounded bird? Neither of them are right or wrong. It's just your choice. So the concept to ponder here also is, if this person is pointing out all of your wounds, why are your wounds a problem to begin with? And why specifically are they now their problem? Like, what does this person stand to gain from solving this quote unquote problem that isn't even really a problem to begin with? We're all wounded. We're never going to be truly fixed. We're never going to be truly healed. And it certainly isn't anybody else's job to fix or heal us. So this point of emotional manipulation, where they're pointing out the wounds in you, is really tricky, because what they do is they bring the wound up. They will grasp at something that's so hidden or so buried, so deep within you, something that hurts so beneath the surface that maybe you thought was way in the past. You never thought that it would come up again. And they will lay it on your doorstep like a recent catch, like a hunter, like a cat laying a mouse right on your doorstep. And they're like, look what I found. And when you see that catch, when you see that thing that they've brought up from your depths, that wound that you thought was over, or that wound that you were avoiding, you will inevitably open emotionally. You will have some type of emotional release. And whenever we have an emotional release, we immediately seek intimacy. That's human nature. And who's there to catch you? Who's there to comfort you? Them. And it's really interesting because they're going to be bringing these wounds up and then watch you have an emotional reaction, and then hold space for you and heal you through it, all the while that it was them that brought that wound up. It wasn't the wound. You were handling it on your own, as is your burden to bear. But they bring it up, and the focus is on the wound, but not on the fact that they brought it up. And then you had a breakdown, and now they are there to console you, which is very tricky. They create this environment where they skillfully break you down only to be the one who builds you back up again. And it's in this way that they make you feel like they know you even better than you know yourself. And they have some type of key to fix you or solve you or help you that you do not have, which is never the case. They do not have that key. You have that key. The only reason why they would be creating this environment is to make you dependent on them, which we'll get into in a second. It's essentially from a place of their own like real woundedness and seeking love, but it's just not the way to seek real intimacy and love. It is coercion. It is control. The next point of seeking out or pointing out a manipulative person is they're going to make you question your beliefs, your values, your boundaries, and who you are fundamentally. They will start to make you think like there is something fundamentally wrong about the way that you think or the way that you are, and you're doing it from a place of that woundedness maybe, or you're doing it from a place of not knowing the whole truth that they know. And for that reason, they're going to start to make you question your validity. It's almost like you'll feel like, what's a good analogy for this? It's kind of like a conspiracy theory against yourself. It's like you'll know who you are, you'll know your boundaries and values, and they're going to say some shit like, oh, well, like, don't you think that maybe your mom implanted that in you and that's not really what you think at all? And you're going to be walking away like, huh, maybe I don't know anything about myself. That's a huge red flag that leans towards this person is trying to, or this person is suggesting that they know you better than you know yourself, which is not the case ever, never, never. So that again is going to look like, oh, you think this way, or you set these boundaries, or you are this type of person because you push people away and you don't even see it. You don't even see it. You don't even see this part of yourself. And you're going to be like, oh shit, maybe I don't see this part of myself. Maybe this person is like this amazing God who shines a light on my blind spot, when that is not their place at all. Okay, next, they will rush you. They're going to make it seem like your hesitance or pacedness about the relationship, friendship, whatever it is something that is of detriment to you. They're basically in a rush to make you feel something for them, which again is different from that like chivalrous energy. And I'll tell you how. People who genuinely care about you and like love you, they want you to take your time because they appreciate everything about you. They prefer you the way that you are already. So they don't want to rush. Like, they love you. The analogy that I can think of is they love you so much. It's like if you were to sit and watch a rose blossom and open, you want to savor every moment of that rose blossoming and opening. You don't want to like rush it for it to be open because you're missing the whole point and the whole process. That is love. It's when you want to watch someone in their own process exactly as they are and watch them blossom at their own pace. You don't want them to be the outcome. That's not love. So you're going to start to feel like in the relationship or in a relationship of any kind with a manipulative person that you're rushed to open up, that you're rushed to, there's some sort of like, you have to do, you're just rushed. This is also going to come up in terms of joint decision making. If there's a big decision that you're making with someone who's using manipulation as a tactic to get their needs met, they're going to make it seem like there's some type of time frame where if we don't meet this deadline together and we don't make a decision right now, then all is lost. If you don't pack up your whole house tonight and move to like this other country with me right now, then I'm never going to see you again. And the circumstances are going to align and we're going to fall out of touch. You're going to feel rushed. And I need you to know that in a relationship that's healthy, both people feel comfortable taking their time. It is extremely rare when you need to rush decisions or rush decisions. And it is never the case that you need to rush a relationship. Okay. The next point is they are going to speak in half-truths. This is my favorite part. Everything that a manipulative person says is going to be contradictable. They will contradict themselves often. Everything that they say could easily go in any direction. And I'll give you an example. Say that you're asking someone that you're dating where they stand or what they want romantically. Like, what do you want? What is the purpose of our interaction? They might say something like this. Well, my philosophy is that love is the best medicine and love is the most important thing. And my goal is to just like love as many people as possible and share my connections with like whoever just open up to whoever comes my way or whatever it might be. And with the right type of situation or the right amalgamation of connection, I'm like laughing as I make this up, I could go down a route that looks something like deep exclusivity or it's not like my belief on monogamy or you wanting to share a life with me isn't all that different from yours. It would just take like the right circumstances, but ultimately love is the goal. And I have many like upstanding connections that I already love, and I also love you. So notice how when I said that, that person could be married with children, that person cheating on his wife, that could be someone who is monogamous and looking to start a family, that could be someone who is like kind of in a polyamorous situation, that could be someone who, you get the picture. There's like 700 different truths that you could find within the half truth. Basically, you're going to feel like speaking with them and trying to pin down their values, their ideas, what time they're coming over, their ways of behaving, their beliefs. It's going to feel like you're wading through the fog. You will feel confused and unsure of what they are actually saying, what they actually think, what they actually believe, who they actually are, what they actually want. You're not going to know. When someone speaks in a half-truth, the reason that they do this is because it's very easy for them to mirror someone else. As in, they could say that half-truth and you could say, oh, yeah, you know what? I agree with you. That makes sense. I think we agree on the same thing. And then when you are in a debate or an argument, or when that doesn't work, they can contradict what they said and pivot it in a way that meets the goal or aligns with the goal that they are trying to achieve. So when people speak in half-truths, you're going to get a lot of things that are, it would be very easy for them to say something and for you to reflect that back to them, and for them to say something like, oh no, you're not listening to me properly. If you really cared about me, you would listen better. So the half-truths thing is really tricky because everything that they say, you can't negate, you can't support. If you do support something and it supports their agenda, then they're going to be like, oh yeah, we're so similar. And if you negate something that they say, they could say, oh no, that's not what I'm saying. It's very like wishy-washy, foggy. You don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's another point where you can sense a manipulator. Okay, the next thing, extremely important. If you're in a debate or an argument with them, they will never, ever be solution-oriented. No matter how many times you try to find middle ground between where you're at and where they're at, they will always, every single time, trail off into abstraction, that sort of half-truth speak. And that abstraction is usually riddled with all of the ways in which they feel like you are not hearing them, seeing them, supporting them, there for them, understanding them properly. And every time that you try to ground the conversation back into solutions and understanding them and understanding yourself, it's going to trail back into abstraction. You will be caught in the same argument or the same debate over and over and over again. Bonus points if you don't even know what you're fighting about. You don't even know what the point of the conversation is. The next thing is, this is like a bonus point, actually. You get the feeling that they're lying on connection points. An example of this is one time I was in middle school, and I feel so bad that I remember this for the girl in middle school because it was like middle school. I asked this girl if she liked Lollapalooza, which is a music festival. And I remember she said like, oh my God, yeah, Lollapalooza is my favorite band. I listen to them all the time. And I was like, okay, obviously she doesn't know what Lollapalooza is, and she just lied. You're going to get the sense that you might present things that you like to this person, and they're going to have similar responses. That's a bonus point. Okay, next point. This is like kind of if they're really deep in the manipulation game and they don't even realize it. I can't wait, by the way, until we get to the point where I empathize with manipulators. This is next part, because it is so important that you understand where these people are coming from and that they're not bad people and they're not like inherently psychologically twisted. Anyways, the next point is fabrication of emotion. You're going to get the sense that you might get the sense, again, this is when they're deep in it, might get the sense that they are literally like fake crying, fake angering, that their passion is like not coming from a genuine place. They might do the like Obama Sandy Hook tear on the podium, like wiping one single tear away type of thing. I can say that, by the way. I'm from Sandy Hook, and my mom voted for Obama because I was 9 when he got into office. Anyways, you're just gonna get the sense that they like aren't actually crying. It's like kind of that they're putting on a show. Okay, next point. This is very important, and this is very tricky. They will start creating reasons to be in your physical space constantly very soon after meeting you. Or say you spend time with them, they're going to, like, say you go on a date with them, they're going to start to fabricate or pull out of the woodwork reasons why they have to stay over or live in your house for a week or something. This is going to look like, my landlord is kicking me out and he was banging on my door all day yesterday and I have no place to stay and I don't know what to do. Could you help me? Or I just really, really need someone because I had this huge fight with my ex-girlfriend or whatever it is. Your neighbor asked me to stay 3 extra days to help him like landscape. And it's, it's just such a shame because I have to leave and if only I could stay and help him. A conference just came up in town and I need to be at it, so I have to stay at your house longer. This is one. I went on a date with a guy in Barcelona once, and the whole date he was like, I have a situation I need to talk to you about. And I was like, okay, buddy, what's the situation? And he was like, I got kicked out of my Airbnb today, or it expired or whatever. And all of the hotels are booked. All of the hotels are booked, and I have no hotels. They're all thousands of dollars a night. I have nowhere to stay. There's no place to go. I'm going to be out on the street. Can I come home with you? And when I said no, are you sure? There's no couches? There's no extra beds? Do you have roommates? Really, they're going to try to push to be in your physical proximity sooner than you're ready. Basically, what it feels like is if I cannot have access to your space, I'm going to be in a shitty situation. I'm going to be letting myself down, others down. I'm going to be screwed. The next thing. They will do something that I like to call creating exhaustion containers. This looks like keeping you up all night talking, walking you around all night, not choosing a restaurant when you're very tired and very hungry. They'll like literally create physical exhaustion containers where the unconscious point on their part, because I think most manipulation is unconscious, is to get you to a point where you are too exhausted to say no to them. This could also look like emotionally exhausting you with crisis after crisis. I lost my job. I did this. My mom has cancer. I think I need to go to the doctor. I was in the hospital last night. Emotional crises. Or exhausting you with confusing conversation, those sort of half-truth conversations where you don't even know why you're fighting, what you're talking about. No solution is good enough for them. It's always pointed back. There's always a half-truth. It just never ends. And they don't allow you to take time to physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally replenish yourself and reflect on what's going on. So they don't allow you to take a break or take space so that you can start to let the conversation or the situation settle, ferment and develop and digest. The image that I get with this type of behavior, it's almost like a pit bull. I don't know if this is scientifically accurate, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard once that pit bulls have lockjaw. So when pit bulls fight, one of the reasons why they were like outlawed, even though that's not okay, like morally, when they fight, apparently they bite down and they can't let go. That's the image that I get with manipulative people who are creating an exhaustion container. It's like they have something that they want and they bite down and they don't let you get away until you like go limp, sort of. So that's the essence of a manipulative person. Basically what they're saying and the stance from which they're coming at you is, if I cannot have access to you, your time, your energy, your resources, even if you are not willing or desiring to give yourself, it hinders my self-expression. It hinders my boundaries. It hinders me. Your boundaries hinder my boundaries, which is never the case, and that's not how it works. But that's basically what they're implying, is by you being you, you hinder me and me being me. So if you start to sense that from a person, that's what you're dealing with. Okay, now to something extremely important, which is why they do it and how we can start to have empathy for it. So take a second, pause this, think about why someone might manipulate somebody else. Okay, if you came up with the answer that they're just like some sick, fucked sociopath, you're probably 99% of the time wrong. It is pretty rare like manipulation is pretty common. We've all run across someone who is manipulative. If you're listening to this, you probably know what I'm talking about. And it's very rare when people have something actually psychologically messed up to the point where they like do not care about other people's feelings, and they're actively trying to manipulate people. Most of the time, what's happening, and this is what's really, really, really sad about people who use manipulation as a tactic, is because they feel so fundamentally misunderstood, so fundamentally unlovable and insecure that they think that the only way that someone might love them is for them to manipulate the other person into loving them. Which is like, that makes me want to cry, and it should make you want to cry too. The level of suffering that someone must feel to feel like they have to like coerce people into caring about them. Like, God knows what that person went through to get them to that point. That's a devastating concept. And that's why it's really important that when we talk about people who use manipulation as a tactic, that we see them as people who are using manipulation as a tactic to get loved, not some like sicko freak that's doing it because they're like evil and twisted. If we are on a journey and a path in this lifetime of walking in love for ourselves and for other people, we need to stop pointing fingers and making them wrong and telling them that they're so sick and twisted and how dare they, because they learned that they're so, even if it's not true, they learned that they're so unlovable that that's the only way that they could get their need, fundamental human need to be loved, met, which is super sad. And the funniest part about it is they don't understand that if they just lay down the rope and staff, if they just let us be who we are, and if they let themselves be who they are, we would love them endlessly anyways. We initiate, like usually, we're in friendships or relationships or whatever with manipulative people because we see them, we like them, we think that they're interesting, we think that they're cool, we're attracted to them, whatever it is, we like them anyways. Like, they never had to do any of that shit to get us to like them. And ironically, by doing all of the things to get us to like them, because it is manipulative and it infringes on our own personal space and our own health, we don't like them anymore. By them manipulating to try to get love, they keep themselves in a cycle of being unloved because nobody wants to. It's very rare when you find people who want to love people who use manipulation as a tactic to get loved. Do you see what I mean? It's a very sad cycle for someone to be in, and that's why it's important that if you are in a container or a relationship of some kind with someone, or someone who is manipulative, try to just see them as someone who is seeking love. That doesn't mean that they have to get whatever they want from you, but it does mean that you see the humanity in them. That's the thing, and that's the hardest part about being especially intimate with a manipulative person, is that they are often lovely people. They are tender, kind-hearted, sweet, fundamentally deep down caring, loving, but they are not equipped with enough self-love to know how to express that properly. Okay, so now that we know why they do it, we understand they're just human beings, they're trying their best. Doesn't mean that you have to allow it though. Okay, here's how to love them and also love and honor yourself And what I mean by that is here's what to do about it. So the first thing that you're going to do if you are in a system or an interaction with a manipulative person, and if you're not, but you're just listening to this, do this beforehand because it's going to be a lot easier if you're not under the pressure of manipulation. You need to know your values, your worth, your beliefs, and your truth like the back of your hand. You need to get very clear on specifically who you are, what you value, the pace at which you want your relationships to go, the type of person that you would accept in your life, in your sphere. You need to just really know yourself really, 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 really deeply and hold on to that for dear life. If pitbull lockjaw is a good thing in any way, it's never a good thing to pitbull lockjaw on other people, but it is a good thing to pitbull lockjaw on yourself, your beliefs, what makes you you, what lights you up, what feels good and safe to you. Pitbull lockjaw on that. Okay? This is a little tricky too because they're trying to get a fundamental need of being loved met. The more that they realize that they cannot manipulate you because you are holding on tight to who you are, the harder they're going to try. Hold fast. That's all I have to say. Know yourself, your values, your worth, your beliefs, your truth. The other thing that you're going to do is you're going to stay calm. Understand that anything that you say in an emotionally charged way when you are in a conversation with someone who is using this as a tactic will be used against you. Can and will be used against you in court. Any type of like emotional outburst that you have because you feel so helpless and cornered by this person who is just like hammering, chipping away at you, trying to get you to do something, you cannot crack, because if you snap back, they're immediately going to, oh my God, I knew it this whole time. You never loved me. That's what's going to happen. So you just have to stay calm. And I offer developing the practice of just observing their behavior, observe their manipulation, observe these tactics that they're using. Just watch it happen in a way that doesn't make them wrong. Just observe it. The next thing that you need to do is take physical or communication space as quickly as you possibly can. Like I said, the exhaustion container thing is real, and they're probably going to try to be communicating with you constantly, keep you in their circle constantly, so that you don't have time to take space and doubt that they're lovable, basically. And while we know that they are lovable, you do have the right to take space and decide if that is someone that you might want to spend that much time with or that much time communicating with. So take the physical or literal space as quickly as you possibly can. And you can communicate that. You can just say, hey, I'm taking space. Just wanted to let you know, so you can honor whatever values you have, if communication is one of them. And do that. And if you're in a relationship that you can't escape, and you don't want to, like maybe this is your mom, just consistently take space whenever you can. I'm going to go away for a weekend. I'm going to, turn my phone off for a week. Just take the space you need. The next thing is when you are in these conversations with them that are challenging, where you feel like they are kind of pushing you towards something you don't want to do or asking for more of you than you are willing to give, continue to state your boundaries and your values calmly and lovingly over and over and over again, and bring the conversation back to a solution constantly. Try to avoid the abstraction world that they're going to want to drift off into, and the whole self-pity world, martyrdom. Bring them right back to the solution and the only thing that you can speak on, which is yourself, your feelings, your experiences, your values. The way that I like to visualize this is you are dealing with a toddler in kindergarten who does not want to take a nap, but it is nap time and they are clearly tired. And you are an adult, so you're entrusted with being their guardian. So they're going to be throwing a tantrum. They don't want to find solutions. They're just hurt emotionally. They're experiencing a lot of sensation in their body. They're freaking out. And the only thing that you can do is say, I hear you. I see you. This is it's nap time. It's nap time. oh, I can tell that you're having big feelings, but it's nap time. That's what you're going to be doing with your own boundaries and values and solutions that you propose. I hear you. I see you. That must be really hard what you're experiencing and going through, but this is what I'm comfortable with, and it's not going to budge. Okay? And the last part, which is kind of the most empowering part about dealing with people who are using manipulation, is I highly recommend that if you can, hold space for them while they are attempting to manipulate you. Because you get to hold space for another human being who is suffering in love. Like, you get to hold that space with love and not allow them to manipulate you, but watch them attempting to do it. There is nothing more empowering than this. When you know you can literally hold your own and still love another person and not judge them and be like, oh, they're so fucked up. Because, like, ew to that. But just hold space for them and, like, watch them trying to get a need met in a way that's inefficient. Like, watch them trying to get a need met, the need to be loved by you, in a way that just doesn't work, and be like, I see you. Like, I hear you. Your experience is valid, but, like, this is what's happening with me. That is the way that you handle manipulators, is you walk in love with them. So, you guys, that's it for today. Just wanted to drop a little thing about the Co-Creation Clubhouse, the affordable manifestation monthly membership. It opens for the first 4 days of every month. So mark your calendars, follow me on Instagram for updates, or join my newsletter on my website. You can do that by clicking on How to Manifest and waitlisting for the webinar. That'll just automatically get you in to the newsletter. By the way, my newsletters are not annoying and like ChatGPT oriented. I hand type every one of them, and I'm just like, sup guys, this is what we're doing. Okay, I love you very much. I hope that if you have someone like this in your life, you can walk in love and honor yourself and them, because this is a person who is hurting and suffering, and you also have every right to uphold your own boundaries, values, and sense of self in that process. Okay, love you very much. Talk soon.